Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on this beautiful Saturday, April the 11th, 2020. We have a good one coming up for you all. We're going to be talking about Tua Tagovailoa and why we need to stop disrespecting this kid and calling him injury prone. This is going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk all about it. We're going to get started. I'm going to give y'all about maybe a minute or two to come in the room. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button on the way in. Shout out to Chad Marchone, the first one in the building, as always, representing. I appreciate your love and support. Shout out to all the mods, man. I haven't given the mods enough love lately. I appreciate y'all coming through. Clemente, Brandon Hudgens, I see you. Vic, as always. What's up, homie? Just got the notification. How's it going, team? Awesome. Flipside Fishing, I see y'all in the comment section. How L. Burgess don't have a mod, man? Let me hook him up, man. Add moderator. Let's see. All right, we good now. Man, I appreciate y'all coming through. Man, wow, that was quick. Man, we had a minute and we already got almost 100 people in the room. But punch that like button. Only 30 likes, man. 30 likes. This is going to be a good one, guys. The title is breaking news. Tua Tagovailoa is not injury prone. Instead, he's... And then I just start shaking my head. And y'all will understand why in just a moment, man. This is going to be a good one, man. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me give you a little backdrop of what made me start this topic, okay? Charles Fisher said, TD, you see the buffoonery I showed you about Tua? Charles, man, you and 10 other people sent it to me. And that's why I'm going live about it. You and 10 other people sent this article to me. On Instagram, I had about 7 people send it. Then in our group chat with the panelists, somebody put it in there. I mean, so many people sent me this, and then I went and read it. And you know what? Back up. I know we call it buffoonery, but there's some truth to the article. There's actually some truth to the article. I know that shocked some of y'all to hear me say that. I know that may shock some of y'all to hear me say that. But there's actually some truth to it. Not the article, but the thread. Let me put it like that. But I'm going to read it just because there's a lot of people that don't even know what we're talking about right now. But I'm going to read it and we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to break down what I believe is going on here. Okay. So David J. Chow. Okay. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. If I didn't, please forgive me. No point intended to mess it up if I did. But Dr. David J. Chow from Pro Football Doc. Okay. He started a thread on Twitter that said, I don't understand or agree with the injury-prone talk related to @TuaMan, which is Tua's Instagram, or most players. He basically said with stay at home, free time to start a thread. So he just sitting at home, he got free time to start a thread, and he thought that he should start a thread about not understanding nor agreeing with the injury-prone term, okay? Now, let me give y'all a little background, first of all, about Dr. J. Chow. This ain't an attack on Dr. J. Chow, by the way. He's a doctor. I respect him for that. Awesome. But Dr. J. Chow got to meet Tua Tagovailoa at the Super Bowl. And before we even get started, I want to preface this conversation about what he said about Tua at the Super Bowl. When I met him at Super Bowl 54, he impressed me, and I am rooting for him. I base my thoughts of having him evaluated I base my thoughts off having evaluated NFL players for 2 decades, including 20 combines in Indianapolis. Basically, he throwing a little credentials out there, which he should. You know, he's been doing this for 20 years, and I commend him for that. So you just don't brush past what he said. But at the same token, the one thing that stands out to me, because I don't care who you are, I don't care if you're the president of the United States, I'm a reader of words. If you want to give yourself credibility by saying you're a doctor of over 20 years, and you want people to really legitimately feel like what you're saying, they can lock in as gospel, then don't start out the thread saying, when I met him at Super Bowl 54, he impressed me and I'm rooting for him. Because automatically it's going to bring bias into the picture. It's going to automatically bring bias into the picture. So it's going to make you're already rooting for the kid. He impressed you and you're rooting for him. So, of course, you want to say nice things about him. But at the end of the day, this conversation ain't even about that. But I wanted to preface it with that, just to let y'all know how I truly feel. But at the end of the day, for the sake of this article, we're going to give Dr. Jay Chow all the credibility in the world. So nobody think I'm hating. We're going to give him all the credibility. There's no need to question what he says, okay? Now, let's read what he said, because I want to tell y'all now, I agree with everything the man actually said. But I want y'all to really pay attention to the fine details of what he said. See, all the two-in ears, they don't want to really point out everything he actually said. There's one fine thing he said, and that's all that matters. But he did correct me in my way of thinking, and I appreciate reading this thread, because the good old doctor helped educate me even more, because it made sense what he said. And I said, oh, well, you know what? You're right. So let's go through it, all right? So Dr. Jay Chow said, to me, injury prone means an athlete is more likely to get hurt than another put in the exact same situation. I don't believe that to be the case for Tua man or most athletes. And it typically isn't the case for most athletes. You put any athlete in the same situation, they might all come out with the same injury. But I'm a firm believer that some players absorb certain contact better than others. So whenever it comes to, anybody could have been in that same situation with Tua with the hip injury, they would have dislocated their hip. I don't personally believe that, even though Dr. Chow feels that that's the case. I don't personally believe that anybody put into that situation would have came out with the exact same injury. Even if there was a high percentage, 80% of the players in the NFL could have been put in the same situation and came out with the same injury. But it's hard for me to believe that everybody put in the same situation would have came up with the same injury, because I personally believe, and y'all notice I'm saying personally, I personally believe that some people absorb contact better than others. Some absorb it better than others. And I'm not gonna say he's wrong nor I'm right. I'm gonna leave it up to y'all to decide, and we're gonna talk facts, so we ain't gotta argue today, okay? Now, he goes on to say, any player tackled with knee caught on the ground, with hip flexed and internal rotated, with two players jumping on his back as Tua was, can suffer a hip dislocation. He said can suffer a hip dislocation, not will suffer a dislocation. So all y'all who keep on thinking that it's the exact same, please read the words. He said can suffer a dislocation, not will suffer a dislocation, because I think he's meaning just like I mean. Not every player possibly would have, but any player can. Not, but every player, he's not going to say every player will. So y'all need to make sure y'all understand the fine details of words when you're reading the comment. T. Hill got hit like that almost every Sunday. Yeah, but this is a little bit different, Quint. I understand the Tua one. The way his body was formation, that was tough. A lot of players would have came up with the same injury. I'm just a firm believer in not every player would have actually had a dislocated hip after the exact same contact. Just my opinion, and you ain't got to take it from me, okay? On his bag, this is a car accident type force that no human can withstand. The doc said this is a car accident type force that no human can withstand. I agree with that. No human can withstand, but the injury at the end of it may be different depending on what human it is. None of them can withstand it, but somebody might have sprained it because their body can handle it better. Some would dislocate it. Hashtag Tua, because his body can't handle it as much. So let's keep going to what David Chow said. Yes, Tua man has had 3 surgeries, hip and both ankles, in the last 2 years, but the ankle surgeries was unusual and unique. Tua recovery from high ankle sprain surgery was quick with minimal missed time. I agree. Even Patrick Mahomes had 2 high ankle sprains this past season, week 1 and week 5, which is true. Okay, these are facts being thrown out, okay? Tua's supposed wrist fracture did not happen. The doctor is saying it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Let's just It didn't happen, y'all. Let's just act as if it didn't happen, even if it did. Okay? And if it didn't, it didn't, right? He did break his finger in the past, but that is an occupational hazard. Just this season alone, I am aware of at least 5 NFL QBs with the significant digit injuries, including Jabu Wins and Drew Brees and more. NFL quarterbacks have had significant injuries this year. That's what he's saying. Then he said, medically, Tua is not injury prone. Can he be called prone to injury? That is a different question. Pause. We're going to pause right there because that's the line that nobody want to talk about. They want to throw it out there and say, we appreciate you writing this article to dispel all the myths, Doc. He didn't dispel anything. What I just read was the senses of it all. Let me read it one more time, okay? Because we all need to correct our language. That's the only thing I learned from this is that we need to correct our language. So let me repeat it one more time. Medically, he prefaces it with medically, okay? Medically, Tua is not injury prone. Can he be called prone to injury? That is a different question. Well, you should have answered it, Doc, because I already know the answer. Yes, he's prone to injury. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's stop saying that Tua Tagovailoa is injury prone. Let's stop saying the man is injury prone. The doc is right here. He's not injury prone. But he sure is prone to injury. Those are two different things, and the doc is right. He's right. He's actually right. It is a difference, Sith Lord. Injury prone and prone to injury are two different things. Okay? Injury prone is basically saying you have a higher probability of getting hurt than other people in the exact same position. And I do disagree with that. He's not injury prone because he has the same probability of getting hurt as other people. Somebody hit somebody else directly on the knee, they can actually dislocate their knee. Somebody hit Tua on the knee, they can dislocate his knee. Everybody has the same probabilities of getting hurt. The difference is he's prone to injury. Let's get it straight. The doc is right here. He is not injury prone. He is actually prone to injury. Now, I know some of y'all don't think there's a difference, but there actually is a difference. He's prone to injury, which means he always has them. He always has them. For some reason, it always finds him. He's so prone to it. He's not injury prone like, every 6 months you can count on an injury. That would be injury prone you can count on. We can't foresee this guy getting injured. He may come into the NFL and never get injured again. If you can foresee, if a doctor would sit down and say, you're going to have this injury every five months, and then you're prone to injury. I mean, you're injury prone, excuse me. It's confusing me, right? Then you're injury prone. But this kid technically, if you want to be technical, he is not injury prone. But yes, he is prone to injury. And that is what scares me. The kid is too prone to injury. It just can't escape him. It can't escape him. So Dr. Chow writing this article to make a whole bunch of people feel good about nothing, because at the end of the day, you're right. Injury prone is a lot worse. You can see it's going to happen. It's going to come. But prone to injury, you don't know when it's going to come, but he's so prone to it, it just happens. It just happens a lot for this guy. And there's no difference for me in regards to us selecting him. He's prone to injuries, and that's why TD doesn't want to select him, especially don't move up for him. Missed 4 games in 4 years. Stop, TD. Aquavision. When is enough, man? When is enough? When is enough? Let me get this straight. Did Tua Tagovailoa play every single game of his college career for all 4 seasons? I'm just curious. Did he play 4 seasons and play every game? Did he play 4 seasons and play every game? Excluding the 4. Because from my understanding, he came and took over one of those seasons as a backup. So stop throwing out there he played 4 seasons with 4 injuries. You acting like that year he played the whole season. Come on, man. Stop that mess, man. Let me go on and finish what he said. Medically, Tua is not injury prone. It's interesting to me that he started out with medically, by the way. Randy Hunt said a player's style of play can make them more prone to injury. I agree, Randy, and I love that you changed the language there, Randy. You maybe didn't change it because it was probably already a part of your vocabulary. But you notice how Randy said prone to injury instead of injury prone? I like that, Randy. I appreciate you, homie. I appreciate you, man. But he said a player's style of play can make them more prone to injury, which is true. And a lot of panelists have been on this show to say a lot of his injuries are from bad decision-making. You know, knowing when to give up, knowing when not to press the issue, and being a smarter player, but that's the way he plays. Somebody even said he plays so fast, and that's the way he plays, and that might contribute to the reason why he's prone to injury. So I want everybody to try their best to stop calling the man injury prone, because the good old Dr. J. Chow is correct. He's not injury prone, but he is prone to injury. Okay. Let's keep going. That is a different question. Have talked about how mobile quarterbacks who extend plays take on more risk versus Phillip Rivers and his record streak. Even he has had injuries, just has been able to play through. So the doctor even said it as well. Quarterbacks who extend plays, they get injured a lot. He goes on to say, learning to live to fight another day is something all quarterbacks need to learn, especially Tua. Especially that game where they were blowing the team out and he wanted to come out there and stat pad. The game was over. Nick Saban pulled him and he said he wanted to go back in. Nick Saban let him back in. Then the hip situation happened. He never even needed to be in the game at that time, y'all. He never needed to be in the game. There was zero chance for that team to come back and win, but he literally defied his own coach's desire to take him out, and he wanted to be out there anyway. And I blame Nick Saban for folding in the first place. He should have said, no way. And then he goes out there and get a hip injury. You got to know when to hang it up, man. Injuries happen when everything is done correctly, just like sometimes interceptions happen when the right throw is made. Luck is a big component as the ball is not rolled and funny bounces happen, whatever. No question, the hip is a big injury, and so far things look promising. The ankle and fingers are non-issues. My analysis is Tua is not injury prone. We know that, Doc, but he's prone to injury. Don't leave that out. I am no GM, but medically speaking, if Tua was the consensus top pick of the draft before the hip injury, he should still be near the top of the board now. End of thread. If Tua is the top pick before the injury, he should still be, let me get the words right. He should still, let me make sure I got the correct words. He should still be near the top of the board now. So even the doctor don't think he should be going at the top, the very first. He said if he was at the top before the hip injury, then he should still be near the top. This was my whole argument yesterday. If we have a big board, and before Tua got hurt, he was number 1 on that big board. And when he got hurt, he was probably number 6, just hypothetically, on the big board. And if he's there at 5, and he's number 6 on our big board, and there's a player available above him on our big board, why aren't we taking the player available on our big board that's above him? That's what we should be doing. If he's the highest player available on our big board, then you take Tua Tagovailoa. No questions asked. No questions asked whatsoever. You take him right away at that point if he's the highest rated player on your big board at number 5 if he's there. for some reason, people argue with me as if somebody's higher, you still take Tua. That's what you got a big board for. That's exactly what you got a big board for. You have a list of players in priority of who you're going to take first. So if Derrick Brown is at your number 5 and Tua's at 6 and you're on the clock at 5, I expect them to take Derrick Brown. If Tua is the last one available on your big board and he's there at 5, I expect for you to take Tua Tagovailoa. Whoever's at the top of your big board, that's who you take. For some people, they want our front office and our coaching staff, they even want them to jump Tua above anybody else on the big board and put him up ahead if he's there at 5. You just don't do that. You stick to your principles and you get the next player that you feel is the best value in this draft. It's that simple. That simple. Full disclosure from David Chow, I have not examined or treated Tua. When I met him at the Super Bowl, I already read that. I gave y'all that to begin with. So that's what the article is about. But for some, the thread is about. But for some people, all the Tua lovers, they want to run around here and share the thread and be like, I told you, I'm going to listen to this doctor before I listen to you, TD. Then actually listen to the doctor. Stop hearing what you want to hear. The doctor basically say any player can dislocate their hip like that. He didn't say any player will dislocate their hip like that. Everybody has a chance to dislocate their hip if they experience the same impact that Tua did. Doesn't mean everybody will. It doesn't mean everybody will. The doctor clearly said every player can. It's a car accident that no one basically is exempt from or whatever. But he didn't talk about the severity of the outcome. If I punch one person in the jaw, I might break their jaw. There's a totally different person I could punch with the same amount of force. I may not break their jaw. They just might have a big gash and cut and bleeding and it's sore. It ain't the same. And people love to read words and don't know how to comprehend them the way that they should. The doctor clearly said, let me repeat this one more time. Let me repeat it one more time. Any player tackled with knee caught on ground, with hip flexed, and internally rotated, with 2 players jumping on his back as Tua can suffer a hip dislocation. They can. Of course anybody can, but it don't mean they will. It don't mean they will. So please miss me with that. Oh, TD, anybody. And another thing, I don't even know why I'm even bringing the hip up. I don't care about the hip. I've been on record 5 billion times saying I don't care about the hip. Let's just call it fully healed now. That ain't my concern about Tua. My only concern about Tua is that he's, let me correct it, not injury prone, but prone to injury. So let's get that straight now. Don't break their jaw, TD. I ain't going to break nobody's jaw, man. I ain't a violent person like that. I am not a violent person like that. So come on, man. Please start. I mean, I had 7 people on Instagram send me this thread, and I appreciate y'all because y'all always giving me this up-to-date stuff, and I love it. I had 7 people on Instagram send it, a group chat, and 2 people share it on Twitter. About 10 people sent me the same thing. And half of y'all said, look at this buffoonery, TD. It's not technically buffoonery, but you got to decipher it. You have to read it and actually read the words that are said. It's left for people to take it how they want to take it. And all the Tua lovers, they ran with it. See, everybody would have had the same injury. Not true. And then arguing with, well, you think I'm going to listen to you or listen to the doctor? Listen to the doctor. The doctor didn't say what you're saying. The doctor said anybody in that same situation can dislocate their hip. Doesn't mean they will. Doesn't mean that they will. There is a difference, ladies and gentlemen. There is a difference. You go to the store and steal a candy bar. You can go to jail. Don't mean you will. Don't mean you will. There is a huge difference, man. learn how to what's the word? It's reading comprehension. That's what it was. And believe it or not, I didn't score that high in reading comprehension in high school. It wasn't until college I started excelling in reading comprehension because I was tired of getting things wrong. Then I had to study what people are saying in their words, because how they say it, it can mean totally. One word can change the meaning of a full sentence. But sadly enough, some people will ignore that one word just to fit their narrative. The word in this one is can. You notice the doctor didn't say will. The doctor is intelligent enough to know that if every player will, then he's going to say will. He said can, which is true, but it keeps away from the facts. It's like that true, false facts and true lies. You're telling them the truth, but the context in which you're telling it isn't true. So, and I don't think the doctor meant it. I don't think he meant it that way. It's just how people are taking it to fit their Tua injury narrative. They're taking it that way to fit their narrative. Reading comprehension, ladies and gentlemen. Reading comprehension is that simple. Any player with a leg flex the way that Tua did, with the knee on the ground, with two players pouncing on him, can dislocate their hip. Yes, they can. I agree with that, doctor. But will every player actually dislocate that hip? If you sent 100 people in that same study, the exact same way Tua went down, you will listen. You won't find 100 people dislocate their hip. You'll have a few hip bruises. You'll have a few hip hyperextensions. You might even have a small sample size walking out like, oh, it's nothing. I felt it when it was happening. Oh, it bit, but I'm more elastic. My body can take that more. It's that simple, man. So people need to stop going crazy when threads like this come out. Oh, and this from a doctor. Throw this out to the Tua haters. The only thing I learned in this entire article is that Tua Tagovailoa is not injury prone. Instead, he is prone to injury. Oh, and by the way, let me read that again from the same doctor. Let me read that one more time to help some people out. Medically, Tua is not injury prone. Can he be called prone to injury? That is a different question. Why you ain't answering, doc? Oh, it's a different question. And I know why you ain't answering. Like you said, you met the kid, he impressed you, and you're rooting for the kid. That's why we didn't answer it. But I am at least happy that he put some transparency in his thread by saying, that's a different question. That's a different question. So he is right in that sense that he's not injury prone. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, the man is prone to injury. And that's what scares me about Tua Tagovailoa. It's that simple, man. TD, why are you and so many folks are micro-examining this guy's injury? It's all about if. Exactly. That's why we're micro-examining it, because we're on the clock. We're on the clock, bro. We are on the clock. Don't you want to know that your franchise is micro-examining him? You may not want me to, but do you at least want your franchise to be micro-examining him? It's 4:44, and we had 222 people in the room. Half. Nice. But don't you want your franchise to be micro-examining him? And now you can say, I don't want you doing it, though, TD. Okay, that's fair. That's your opinion. I'm going to do it anyway. But at least tell me that you do want your franchise to be micro-examining him. Come on, man. Let's put it together. And there go Carlos with the little TD U of little faith. Come on, right there correctly, man. And it's called wisdom, man. Come on, Carlos. I know you got more wisdom than that. All right. It's not sexy to them what Doc says. I know, Rodney. I know, man. It's interesting though. Trade up and take Simmons and take Brown at 5. Ooh, trade up? You mean get rid of some other picks and then come up to get Simmons and still get Brown at 5? Now, that would be nasty, man. That would be nasty. Matter of fact, that would be defense complete. Trade up, get Simmons and get Brown at 5. That's defense complete. The defense is officially completed. Words describe the benefits of what a person trying to say or explain. I agree. But you have to be able to also understand those words. You have to be able to actually comprehend those words. We need that O-line micro-examined because them hits we were taking was dangerous and terrible. I agree. Every position needs to be micromanaged, studied. Every single position. TD, I just got in. What's going on with Tua? Man, he ain't injury prone, bro. He just prone to injury. Oh my gosh. Y'all doubt someone every year. If they were being doubted, they were. How about you tell everybody who we doubted last year? Who was that said that so they can indulge us? Slim Cutter. How about you tell us who we doubted last year? And then, first of all, tell me if we even drafted them. If we even drafted them. In 2018, who did we doubt? And did we even draft them? I'm not sure who you're talking about. The conversation is needed on our positions. Absolutely, man. Finsanity, that would be awesome. Finsanity in the building? I don't see her, man. That white jean Finside. Oh, yeah. Y'all make sure y'all go check out Reason's channel. Finside the NFL. Fin, P-H-I-N, okay? Finside, S-I-D-E, the NFL. All right? Make sure y'all check it out. TD, love you, but you still hating. Amen. It's me. Tua gonna come in and make people, well, let me see this. I missed the last bit. Look silly. That's gonna be pretty hard to do, bro. If we draft Tua, he comes in and ball out. Looking silly is only a reflection of yourself. First of all, it's none of my business what any of y'all think about me, and I hope you adopt the same. It's me. It's nobody's business. It's none of your business. It's me. What other people think about you either. So it's hard to look silly when you don't care about what other people think about you. You just keep doing you, and that's true freedom. That is true freedom. The people who worry about what other people think about them have no freedom because they're always trying to conform to what other people think. It is none of my business, ladies and gentlemen, what any of you all think about me. It's my business what you think about what I'm talking about, maybe, but not me in general. I'm just saying. That's just so I've always lived by that, so it never mattered. Okay? So for those who will look silly, I suggest y'all adopt the same thing. It's nobody else's business none of your business what anybody else thinks about you. All right? Trust me, it'll get you a long way in life. It will get you a long way in life. I promise you. It is a waste of time worrying about what other people think about you. Half the time they just want to be you. Okay? Trust me. TD, you the man. Tell them to stop. Stop. Does that work, Papa? Step Pepper. At least Kyler know how to take a hit. Ooh, shots fired. I didn't say it, y'all. I didn't say it. Oh, man. Xavier McKinney from Alabama. I'm down for it. I am down for it. Season tickets for 5 years when Marino was playing. No one's comes close. Now I'm living way up in the rookies dying for another great QB. I get it, man. Hopefully we see it again. Even if that's Tua Tagovailoa. I hope that we see greatness like that again. But I hope we see better because I want to see a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, that's something that Marino couldn't deliver. And that ain't an insult to Dan because it ain't. I'm a firm believer it's not on one player. There's 11 men on that field, and all of them got to be doing their job if you want that ultimate prize. And matter of fact, it ain't just they got to do their job. They got to dominate their job if they want that ultimate prize, and that's that Super Bowl. It's that simple, man. It's the Super Bowl. Tua is a stud. Miami would foolish. I think he meant would be foolish. On another great, hold on. Tua is a stud. Miami would foolish on another great potential quarterback. I think what he's saying is Miami would be foolish on passing on another great quarterback or something like that. I think that's what he was trying to say. Hey, maybe. But I know last year in the draft, everybody was crying about not taking Dwayne Haskins instead of getting Christian Wilkins. Did they not? Did they not? Oh, Haskins on the board. Are we taking Haskins? Man, do you know how many people were like, man, why we get Christian Wilkins? Go look at my last year stream. Go look at last year. Go look at last year and go look at the live comment section if they still got it up. Go look at the live comment section. What? What the H? What are we doing? Go look at the stream. Go look at the thread. They wanted Dwayne Haskins. Come on, man. Go look at the last year's stream. And if you were here last year, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They were fussing about passing up on Dwayne Haskins. We were up on the clock. Everybody, we're about to get Dwayne Haskins. Yay! Yay! He might as well have been seeing ghosts like Sam Darnold this year. As far as I care. As far as I care, man. Come on, man. Come on. Remember the Drew Brees, Culpepper days? Y'all, that hurt watching Brees win a ring in our stadium against the Colts. Aaron Zubia, with the O-lines and the teams that we had, it's so hard. This is the one point that I'll never be able to prove or get across. I truly believe that Drew Brees would not have been Drew Brees if Miami had drafted him. And I ain't trying to even be funny here by bringing Tannehill up. Imagine Tennessee drafted Tannehill and they had that O-line and that running game since his rookie year. We wouldn't be looking at Tannehill the way that we're looking at him now. Tannehill trash, 7 years. And in 1 year, the highest passer rating, Pro Bowl, AFC Championship game. When are we going to stop thinking that it's the player and understand it was always the organization? It was the team. It was the coaches. We want to look outside at everybody else, but don't want to take a good look in the mirror at ourselves. Don't want to take a good look at ourselves. We never did what we needed to do to put what Tannehill needed around him. And forget Tannehill. I don't care what quarterback you had. They would have gotten abused. I don't care if they would have escaped the pocket 10% more than Tannehill. I don't care. He would have gotten abused. So I always ignore that Drew Brees comparison. I don't care. We wouldn't know how to act if we got the right person. And truth be told, we probably already had the right person. Some of y'all will go to death saying, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. But I can guarantee, especially all the two-and-ears, if we draft this man and we don't get an O-line and he get abused and he don't look great, y'all will be the same ones making the same arguments that I used to make for Ryan Tannehill. Y'all will be the same ones. You could sit here ahead of it all and say, no, I'll treat him the same now. I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear that crap. You'll be holding on to whatever you can hold on to. Yeah, we didn't protect him like Tannehill, but still, he still got more talent and an upside. You'll be trying to make every excuse possible. I don't want to hear it. Y'all love looking at everything that you don't believe in as the reason and the culprit. No, we're going to break it down and go with the facts here. We're going to go right here with the facts. That's why I've been on record saying if we draft Tua Tagovailoa, don't disrespect that kid like that. And this is the non-hating TD. The one that if we do draft him, oh, okay, we're good. I'm good with it. But don't disrespect that kid by he already prone to injury. Don't disrespect him by not giving him the protection he needs. And I ain't talking about getting him protection and trying to build a line. With somebody that's prone to injury, get him what he needs now. Spend the extra money. I don't care what it takes. Build the Great Wall of China in front of him if you have to. I don't care. Don't do that. That ain't even cool, man. And that's where I would argue, and I would actually stick up for Tua. That's another thing. If we don't take care of Tua the right way, if we were to draft him, if we don't get a wall in front of him, you think TD the type of person is going to be like, no, I don't want to hear it. No, hey, he need to be able to escape. I know I troll y'all with Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and all of that, but no, I would be the same way arguing on Tua Tagovailoa's behalf that they need to protect this kid. There's going to be a lot of people who didn't want to draft Tua, just like me, that are going to easily say, I told y'all we shouldn't have drafted this kid. And what am I going to do? Y'all chill out with all that. We ain't got what that kid needs in front of him. That ain't fair. I'm going to go to bat for him. I know some of y'all don't like that, especially y'all who love Tua, and y'all love for me to be the opposition of Tua. But yeah, some people just don't like facts, man. That's how I feel about the situation. They need to make sure that if they draft this kid, he got the Great Wall of China in front of him. Period. He got the best protection in this league. I want him with Mahomes protection. I want him with Brady protection. I want him with the best protection in this NFL. Because it is unfair to him if you don't do that. You got to set these kids up for success and not failure. It wouldn't be cool at all, man. And I would be the biggest advocate defending this kid. So all y'all who think that it's just hate on Tua, truth is, I don't hate Tua. I love the kid. But based off of his injury history, I just hate him for the Dolphins right now. You put Tua in this league for 2 years and he balling out and we got an opportunity to trade and he hasn't had any injuries, I'd be screaming to the top of my lungs. If you can get the deal done, get it done. But right now, I don't like it. And some of y'all get mad at me because I don't like it? Come on, man. Come on, get over that, man. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to it. And it don't make mine right. That's why it's an opinion. It doesn't make mine right, man. But at the end of the day, we'll all find out. Time will tell, man. Time will tell. Somebody just sent the definition. Injury prone equals one who gets injured where another wouldn't in same circumstance. Prone to injury, one who gets injured by putting self at risk more than others. True. That is so true. So true. So true, man. Listen, man. If we were to draft Tua Tagovailoa, let's roll, baby. All I can do is have the faith, like they say, TD, a little faith. All I can do is have the faith that he's going to ball out and not get hurt and we're going to win a Super Bowl. That's where the faith kicks in. But right now, it ain't the circumstance. Y'all want me to act like we already drafted the kid. No, right now, I'm going to use wisdom. And my wisdom telling me it ain't smart to draft him. But if we do, that's when the faith kicks in. That's when the faith is supposed to kick in. But right now, wisdom is sitting there. Wisdom. Okay? At least mine. Some of y'all may be like, well, your wisdom ain't worth nothing. Hey, it ain't my business what you think about it. Man, sit Tua for a year. And that's another thing, man. I would definitely love to sit him for a year as well to make sure he has the proper protection in front of him. That's only fair. But all this talk about he's healthy now and he should be ready for camp and all this and that. What are they trying to prove out here? We ain't got to rush anything. We don't have to rush anything with Tua Tagovailoa coming out on that field. Get your reports in practice and let us know how he's doing. And whenever you feel he should be the starter of this team to lead the franchise for the next 15 years, let's roll. And all of this is if we draft the kid. If we draft him. If we draft him, man. Is there anyone in this draft right now that you would draft before you draft Tua Tagovailoa if available in this draft? Y'all let me know in the comment section real quick. I'm just interested to see what y'all think. Who would you draft ahead of this kid right now? Not just the quarterback position, but your big board. Who do you have? Who do you have? Gosh, my Instagram is blowing up. Some people must be ain't watching the stream. They sending me the same thread. Man. Chase Young. Simmons, Becton, Derek Brown, Chase. I would Simmons and Andrew Thomas. Tua. Hey, he's sticking with it. Offensive tackle. Brown. But if he wasn't on the board, an offensive lineman. Becton, Worth, trade down with 49ers or Raiders. Herbert, Tua, Rosen, 1-2 punch. Simmons, Young, Burrow, Okuda, 2 of 5. Derek Brown, 6. Andrew Thomas, 7. My big board, I actually got Derek Brown ahead of Tua. I actually have Derek Brown, number 4. Risk it all for Tua. Simmons would make the difference. Phenomenal. I ain't gonna lie. Ball game really got me thinking, y'all. Ball game got me thinking. You know, this whole thing about with the whole big board thing, Flores being defensive minded. Ball game got me thinking, man. We might listen because we might actually be going to finish the defense. We might actually be going to finish the defense, man. You know another thing that you got to look out for 2021, not 2020, but 2021. Who on this roster right now is trade bait? We can't ignore that either. Who on this roster right now technically is trade bait? And just like last year when we had Tunsil, I mean, all those guys, Kenny Stills, what's his name? The linebacker. Kiko. I mean, all those guys are trade bait. We got good pieces again. You know? Albert Wilson, he'll bring back some draft capital. Xavier Howard would bring back draft capital. Come on, man. Those two guys. Anybody else on this roster that's trade bait? I could even see Jerome Baker being trade capital. I could also see Bobby McCain being trade capital. See, you want to know what's funny about that? Everybody that I just named, we've already gotten rid of all the players of the past except Devontae Parker, technically. But all 4 of those players are somewhat a part of the transition. They actually aren't a part of the new group. They're a part of the transition of when we were starting to rebuild. See, people don't realize the rebuild started about 4 years ago. It didn't start when actually about 3 years ago. It didn't start when Flores came. It somewhat started 3 years ago. But it wasn't aggressive. And when Flores came, it all went down. But those guys right there that I just named, none of them are safe. Jerome Baker, contract coming up within the next 2 years. Not safe, especially with the productivity. Albert Wilson, contract year. And he costing us too much, and we actually could save $9 million. They say after the draft, we should have $8 million left. You don't think they want to have $17 million left instead? Huge trade opportunity. Xavier Howard just signed a fresh big deal, but all that cap space that he can provide, injuries, off-field issues, those things add up and they start to look like trade bait. That's 3 guys right there. Bobby McCain. I don't think he fits the prototype of what Flores wants, even though I think he's a valuable player at the nickel. Still ain't Flores type guy. He's not. That's 4 players right there. 4 players. I thought I named 5. I might be missing one right now. Y'all help me out real quick. Who's that fifth player? I think I just named one more. Hey, who is it? I just named him. Man, it got me. I don't know. I already forgot, I guess. Hey, good point. Whoever just said Godchild. Good point. Good point. Man, good point. And I actually like Godchild, but he's also a trade asset. No, Raekwon McMillan gonna be here, baby. He's a part of the new regime, and they like him, and he plays well, and he still got upside. He's gonna be here. Nick Needham, part of the new regime. They built. That's the one that they built from scratch. They're gonna take advantage of He's a product of them. Nick Needham. If Nick Needham shines in this league, they could take full credit. They're not letting that go. They're not letting that go. They are not letting it go. So really think about it, y'all. We got about 4 or 5 players right now who could bring a few assets. When you put them all together, they're probably worth about a first rounder and a second rounder put together. All of them together. Xavier Howard being the biggest piece. And now they all will come in the form of 3rd, 4th, and 5th round picks. All of them are going to come. See, even Bobby McCain might, like, if you're lucky, you can get a 4th for Bobby McCain because people know what he did that year in the nickel, and they know he was out of position last year, so he still got value if you put him in the right place. If you're a team that's looking for a nickel, you might can get a 4th for Bobby. Some people might think I'm reaching, but trust me, they're going to look at the year where he got paid because he was like rate number 1 or number 2 in the whole NFL at the position. Bobby has some value that people ain't paying attention to. Are not paying attention to. He has value. Godchild has value. Him and Christian Wilkins made combined for the number 1 tandem in the NFL. Number 1 tandem in the NFL. I got to go look up the exact stat. But they were a good combination together. Didn't like their work against the run, but they were a good combination together with tackles. Godchild has value too. Of course, X, from a desperate team, you can get a 2nd round pick or maybe even a 1st, depending on how desperate the team is. Those injuries really do hurt his value. Knee scopes and all of that stuff is hurting his value. Jerome Baker, still young, still up and coming. A team could really utilize his skill. He gets there. He just need to be better at finishing plays. Do you believe in Rosen, TD? That's a interesting question. Do I believe in Rosen? I'll say that I don't doubt him. When you say believe in him, believe in what? What about him do I believe in? Do I believe he's going to be our franchise quarterback? It depends on if he's even going to get the shot to or not. It depends on if his level of play is going to be that much over the top to where this coaching staff is like, hold on now. So I like Rosen. But do I believe in him? It'll really be really unfair for me to answer because that's a loaded question. You got to put it in. You got to go a little bit more granular in the context of what you're asking. What about him are you asking if I believe in? That's better. Okay. Grant or Ford? Ooh, great question. That is a great question. Grant or Ford? I already know what everybody else is going to say. They're going to say Grant. But it pauses me because a part of me want to say Ford. Because Grant's deficiencies, I can't get over. Once again, I'm going to always reference to game number 4 in 2018, the New England Patriots. The Miami Dolphins are 3-0. We are 3-0. We won our first 3 games. And all of a sudden, Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant lined up, and New England said, we ain't finna play around with y'all today. We finna bump and run. We finna get physical. Soon as that ball was hiked, about 40% of every play, 40% of all the plays, Grant or Albert Wilson was on the ground. They were on the ground. And that's what I love, his speed. But how do you neutralize that speed? Get up dirty and nasty from the point of contact. Soon as they hike that ball, put your hands on them. Slow that speed down. Now, if you get beat off the line of scrimmage, they're going to make you pay. But if you're a good physical corner or nickel, you can abuse Grant. You can abuse Albert Wilson. And that's what they did in Game 4 of 2018 versus the Patriots. I'll never forget that game. We were 3-0 looking sharp, and the Patriots just demolished us. I mean, it was embarrassing. I think it was like 33-3 or something like that. I'll never forget what happened to our receivers. They literally took every receiver out of the game. Took them out of the game. They got abused. They just too small. You can't teach size. You can't overcome those deficiencies. So that's what makes me feel like, I might actually pick Ford. It's just I can't get over Grant's speed. I love that speed. But when have we ever really got to see his speed on full display throughout a full game doing everything? Like Tyreek Hill. At least I think, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, Tyreek Hill a little bigger. Tyreek Hill's a little bit bigger and more physical. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. It's what I'm observing. Tyreek Hill is a little bigger and more physical. So, y'all got to tell me if I'm wrong. Because I ain't always right, man. Correct me when I'm wrong, but acknowledge me when I'm right. So that's my take. So that's a hard question, though, because I don't want to give up that speed, but at the same token, I don't want to give up Ford's size. And Ford actually is a good receiver. He knows the playbook in and out, even though he got to learn a new one with Chad Gailey. And Ford can catch the ball. I like Isaiah Ford. Hopefully he comes on and becomes a reliable, good receiver off the bench as a option if in the event of an injury or spots being placed in and making plays. See, Isaiah Ford, the type of guy you want to put in on first down in an obvious run situation, but you get that one-on-one and throw it up and see if he can make a play. And he can make a name for himself that way. He knows how to run routes very well. Now, I ain't saying he the best route runner alive, but he one of the best on this team outside of Preston Williams. Now, Preston Williams know how to run some routes. Y'all got to go watch that kid film. Y'all got to listen, man. Boy, let me tell you, Preston Williams, boy, he had me. I almost got on both knees and just started bowing to him when he made it. I forgot who that was. I think it was against Tampa or something. Somebody he put a move on. He planted that foot in the ground. He looked right, and his whole body was already headed left, though. The defender went with his face, and oh, my God, I got to find that clip again. It was one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen from a wide receiver, and trust me, I mean, I've seen some beautiful things. But what he did, man, y'all, let me know if y'all know what I'm talking about. It was a play where he running, he pivot inside with his head movement, sold it. I mean, it was the best sell job I have ever seen in my life. The defender went inside, but Preston's body was already going in the other direction. I was like, oh my God, sign him on an 8-year deal. When I saw that, man, I was impressed. You couldn't tell me nothing else. That's the only reason I gave him a pass on dropping Josh Rosen's footballs. The only reason I gave him a pass. Boy, oh boy, man. That kid there, he could be something special. I hope he comes back from this injury at a minimum where he left off or even better. I hope so. I hope he doesn't take a step backwards because that wouldn't be good. It would not be good. Let me show y'all something too, man. I want to show y'all something. Y'all give me a second. Let me show y'all this real quick. Let me show y'all this online, man. Screen share. Y'all see this right here? That's Preston Williams. That is Preston Williams. Forget the whole ACL ahead of time. I want y'all to pay attention to this picture. What do y'all know about this picture? Let me know in the comment section right now. What do you know about this picture? This picture says a lot. It's false, by the way. It's not as accurate as it seems. What does this picture tell you? When I saw this picture the other day when I was doing the wide receivers bios, I got a little sad about this picture for so many reasons. For so many reasons. They are showing him against the Dallas Cowboys literally catch a football in the end zone. Touchdown. There's a lot wrong with this picture, and let me break them down. Number one, he dropped this ball, and they ruled it an incomplete, no touchdown. That's number one. Number two, Flores didn't challenge it either. He didn't challenge it. I remember this play. I thought it should have been challenged. Y'all look at it. Look at it. Look at it. He didn't challenge it. Number three, you know who threw him this beautiful teardrop in the end zone? On the dime. I mean, he dropped this ball in on a dime. Beautiful. I went crazy next to him. I was in Dallas. We traveled to Dallas last year for this game. Y'all remember the reception was bad. I was live streaming in the stadium and the reception was bad. It was the only game this year I went to where I couldn't stream it because the reception was bad. But y'all saw me live. It was going in and out. Josh Rosen dropped the teardrop in. And look at it. Ain't it a catch? This happened like 6 times to Josh Rosen in 3 games. 6 touchdowns, if you ask me. 6 touchdowns almost taken away from Josh Rosen because the receivers didn't hold on to the ball. But it's funny how they use this picture as like a highlight. When they ruled it incomplete, we didn't challenge it, and Josh Rosen threw a perfect ball for about 40 yards down the field. Teardrop. Teardrop. Somebody said a lot of drop balls in that game. And guess who played that whole game? Josh Rosen. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I believe, came in like a few plays because Rosen had got like this little nick injured or whatever, and he went out for like 2 plays and came back in. Is that Byron Jones on him? I don't know. What number was Byron Jones in Dallas? Because this is number 24. This is number 24. Let me see if that was Byron Jones. No, Byron Jones was 31, man. That wasn't Byron Jones. That would have been a little insult to injury. But that is so crazy to me, man. So crazy to me. This kid was out there dropping dimes. See, and I've been on record telling y'all, I'm not this big old Josh Rosen advocate, but the games that I saw watching Josh Rosen, I saw a lot of things that he can improve, but I also saw some things of beauty. And they never came to full fruition because of stuff like that. What looks like an automatic touchdown was dropped in the back of the end zone. I mean, it was a beautifully thrown ball right in the kisser. Bam! And he actually brought it into his chest. Did y'all see that? He actually brought it into his chest. He had the ball. I was screaming in the stand. Listen, everybody in the stands next to me was like, oh, they even thought it was a touchdown. And when the refs ruled incomplete, they were cheering And I was like, challenge it. And we never challenged it. They never challenged it. It was crazy to me. Somebody sent me Josh Rosen's highlight reel with the Dolphins. I think it was Pete yesterday. And I watched it. And I know it's highlight reels and they don't have nothing to do with the things that he can do to improve, of course. But the kid got an arm. The kid does have talent. And one thing I will tell you, he knows how to drop teardrops in there. He knows how to get the ball down the field and drop those teardrops in. Right in place, in stride. He sure knows how to do it. And that's why I have hope for Josh Rosen. That's why I'm not saying, oh, do I believe in him? I believe he has what it takes. But we'll see, man. He got to earn it, y'all. He got to earn it. He has to earn it. Okay? Somebody said, TD, is it possible to trade for Watson? Anything's possible. I don't think it's a good look with the salary cap. I know EM said the other day this new CBA addressed that. Let me help y'all understand something, okay? The new CBA did not address the quarterback salary. It just helped salaries in general. What people don't realize is, let's say the salary cap was $10 million. Let me give y'all smaller numbers so y'all can comprehend better. Some of y'all who are just learning about football. Say the salary cap was $10 million and there was 5 people on the team. And each person averaged $2 million. But say your quarterback made $8 million and everybody else made $500,000. If they increase the salary cap by $10 more million to help out pay salaries, that doesn't just mean that people need to go ahead and double the quarterback salary. All the players have to be addressed. All the positions have to be addressed. So people make it seem like, hey, if the salary cap goes up another $20 million, then throw that to the quarterback. Now, instead of paying him 20, you can afford the 40. Yeah, but here's where you outbid yourself in free agency when that happens. If you take every penny that the salary cap went up by, and now you can afford that quarterback, now you're underpricing yourself for all the other free agents. The guard that costs $10 million now, when that salary cap went up, he's worth 13 now. You can't offer the same 10 or he's going to say, no, I'm not coming to Miami. So when the salary cap goes up, remember, everybody's cap goes up. Everybody's money goes up. Not just the quarterback. Everybody. And if you don't treat it as everybody, you're always going to lose to the team that does treat it as everybody, because they're going to have better talent spread out on the team because they gave everybody the applicable raise. But you only gave the quarterback a raise and thought that you can keep players at the same price you've been playing. It don't work that way. You're going to also lose people that way. Everybody gets a raise. Everybody. And that's how that works, man. Is Watson up for a new contract now? The discussions are starting now. This is the time where his discussions start for that new contract. Same thing with Patty Mahomes. The discussions can start now. Just like Dak Prescott last year, the discussion started. Just his took him into this year. That's how that works, man. Look at Seattle, for example. Exactly. Anthony, yes, maybe you haven't been here long enough. I've been saying Rosen should start for us week 1 last year, but I'm happy he didn't. He's fully healthy and ready to take lead. It's another thing that's interesting to me. Fitzpatrick starts the first 2 or 3 games and looks like trash, and our team looks like trash. We couldn't even get a first down to save our life. Rosen comes in, looks like trash. The team looks like trash. We can't get a first down to save our life. But for some reason, nobody saw Fitzpatrick looking like trash from the beginning. Because Fitzpatrick comes back in and things start to get better when Mark Walton started running the ball. and we had a little bit more continuity on the O-line, started to look at least decent, which ain't saying much. But when you take both sample sizes, they both went through the same thing in those first 6 games. It's just one of them got a second opportunity. One of them got a second opportunity. So if we're really going to be fair, what if the season ended in week 6? Nobody can sit here and say one was better than the other. They both had problems because of that O-line. But lucky for the veteran, which you're supposed to put the veteran back in at that point, you're supposed to put the veteran in to take that abuse. If things are going that way, you don't keep your young guy in. That's like drafting Tua Tagovailoa this year. We throw him in and he's getting abused the first 3 games. You take him out and put Fitz in. Who can be mad about that? But are we going to give up on Tua all of a sudden? No, we ain't. No, we're not. No. No, man. No. Like I said, if we draft Tua Tagovailoa and we put him in the first 3 games and he looked terrible because the O-line won't give him protection, he ain't even got time to throw the ball. Then we put Fitzpatrick in and he going through the same thing. Are we going to give up on Tua all of a sudden? No. No, we're not. We understand the circumstance. And you know what everybody would be saying? No, they're just saving him. They know they got to fix the line and they don't want him out there taking that abuse. But we say the same thing about Rosen, and all of a sudden we be in delusion. All right, TD, keep talking like that. EM is going to come after you. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, man. I love EM's opinion. I love his opinion. Don't make it right, but I love his opinions. What's your thoughts on the Dolphins grabbing Jake Fromm in the second and grabbing impact players in the first round? Listen, man, first of all, even if I was to take Fromm out of the situation, I love the fact of getting impact players in the first round. All 3 picks, impact players. And then going later and getting one of those quarterbacks, that's all good with me. And if it's Fromm, I'm good with that too. Because, again, I'm relying on this coaching staff to develop these young kids and not so much make them pro-ready, but help them adapt to this pro game. Listen, Fromm might get drafted and be the best quarterback in this whole draft. You think Tom Brady was drafted and thought of possibly being? Nobody even said he could possibly be. Robert Kraft himself came out and said, I ain't expect nothing of him. These are Robert Kraft's words. Robert Kraft said when we drafted the kid, I remember when he came up and was like, thanks for the opportunity. I'm going to do this and that to be your this and that. And Robert Kraft said in the interview, I was like, okay, I love the, enthusiasm, but I never thought he would be anything. I mean, he was a 6th-round pick. I didn't care. They didn't even view him as that. Robert Kraft said, I just viewed him as a guy to come in and compete, A lot of times it's the situation. It's the type of situation you're in, man. Tannehill could have played 2 more years with the Dolphins and then been kicked out of the league. Now this man got a 4-year deal over $100 million. Haters hate. Hey, boy, when Tannehill got that money, you should have saw how many people made videos. Oh, did Tannehill deserve it? Oh, they robbing themselves by giving them that money. Stop hating, man. Man, I was so happy for Tannehill. You know how much credibility Tannehill helped me have? They may be not with some of y'all, but listen, everything I've been saying about that kid has been accurate all this time. I said he was never the issue. It's just his supporting cast, what he's around, the play calling, all of those things in conjunction don't work well for Tannehill. I always said he needs protection. He needs time to throw the ball in a consistent running game. I never said he was elite. And when I'm saying he's elite, I'm trolling y'all just to get under people's skin. But I always said he can be, and this is where people get real mad at me. I said he could be just as good as Tom Brady, man, if you just put everything around. Imagine Tennessee having New England's defense. They would have won the freaking Super Bowl hands down. Imagine Tennessee last year with New England's defense. They got the defensive mentality to go in and stop Brady, to stop Lamar Jackson. But their personnel wasn't there. They're like 2 or 3 players away on that defense to be in a Super Bowl contending team. Keeping that same offense because they lost a huge piece on that offensive line. But I'm pretty confident that they're going to replace it in the draft, I'm sure. But give Tennessee New England's defense last year. Man, Chiefs ain't got a shot in the gun range. The Chiefs wouldn't have had a shot in the gun range whatsoever. You're reaching, my guy. How? How is that reaching? Matter of fact, that defense actually did well in the first half. It was the fourth quarter they got ate up. They actually did well in the first half. They had the lead. But they couldn't sustain it. You get them the Patriots defense, even last year with Tennessee's offense. Come on, man. Give the Chiefs Patriots defense TD, nobody would beat them. If you get a Chiefs Patriots defense, nobody would beat them. But you can't have a Patriots defense because you got all that money on offense. You got all that money on offense. So you can't. You can't. Same thing with Tennessee. It's hard to actually have Patriots defense because they had all that money on that O-line. And they had a quarterback on the bench making $26 million a year in Mariota. So, 30 touchdowns, 1,000 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns. Thoughts on snagging 2 quarterbacks this year like 2012 Redskins? I actually expect them to snag 2 quarterbacks if we get one in the first round. We'll get one early at 5 or 18. Then we'll get one in the 3rd or the 4th round. I wouldn't be surprised. The ultimate competition in camp. Why would we load every position on this roster and not do the same at the quarterback position? We got 6 running backs under contract and looking to get another 1 or 2 in the draft. We got 11 wide receivers on the roster right now. Some of y'all may not know, and still probably going to grab another 1 or 2 in the draft. TD, would you trade for Yannick Ngakoue? At this point, no, because the salary is going to be so heavy. But, I mean, if we were talking about before free agency, then, yeah, I would have considered it. TD, do you believe the lack of minicamp will hurt Josh Rosen and Jake Ruddock? Who's asking this question? Because this is already great. The question just went off the screen because the chat moving too fast, but let me find it. There it is. TD, do you believe the lack of minicamp will hurt Josh Rosen and Jake Ruddock because of the new offense, or do you believe it will work itself out? What say you? I think it'll work itself out because since it's a new offense, everybody has the same opportunity. Ryan Fitzpatrick got the playbook 2 months before Josh Rosen last year. Ruddock got the playbook 2 months before Josh Rosen last year. This year, all 3 of them got the playbook at the same time. And whoever we draft on draft day, they're going to get it 2 months after these guys. So I don't think it hurts them. It helps them. Now, not being able to actually play and put it into action, again, why will it hurt them when everybody's in the same situation? Actually, it levels the field. It levels the field. It's actually allowing the ultimate fairness. You all got it at the same time. You all didn't have minicamp. You all didn't have this. You all didn't have that. You're all going to start at the same time. Who got the juice? Let's go. Who got the juice? That's how that's going to work. And I'm down for that, man. There's no excuses, ladies and gentlemen. We can't look for excuses for Josh Rosen after this. You can't. If he ain't the guy after this camp, let me back up. If he don't make the 53-man roster, that ain't nobody to blame but himself. I look forward to him making it, but if he doesn't, look at Josh Rosen. Don't look at anybody else. That's all on Rosen. Donald said, that's a different perspective I didn't consider. Thanks, TD. No problem, Donald. I appreciate the question because it was a good one. Didn't Fitz play for Gailey before in Buffalo? But listen, Fitzpatrick ain't a part of this scenario. Fitzpatrick's not a part of the scenario. Josh Rosen doesn't have to go into camp he has to be better than Fitz. But the truth is, Josh Rosen just has to be better than everybody else. He just has to be better than everybody else. Fitz ain't part of the long term. Jake Rudick is fighting to be on this roster long term, even if it's a backup. Rosen is fighting to be on this roster long term, even if it's a backup or the starter. Whoever we bring in is looking to be our franchise quarterback. That's the long-term outlook. They're all going to have an even field. Fitzpatrick don't factor into that. He is who we want him to be. The gap between now and our franchise quarterback. The guy who's going to go out there, sacrifice it all until we determine who the guy is who is going to be our future. That's simple. That's simple, man. Just saying he will know the playbook better. Yeah, that's true. But he's a good old wily veteran, man. You can give him any playbook. I'm confident that Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Harvard guy, might I add, is going to lock it in like that. He knows scheme. He knows concept. He knows X, Y, and Z. So that's not even an issue. We're talking about guys who've been in this league less than 3 years. Everybody who's competing with the 15-year-old veteran. I don't even consider him in this. But if Josh Rosen wants to be our franchise quarterback, there's no question he's going to have to beat out Fitzpatrick and his experience and his knowledge of Chan Gailey already. He's going to have to beat it out. That's the only way that he's going to be our franchise quarterback. And listen, it ain't nothing for us to feel bad about. That's up to that kid. He got to step up to the plate. If you're a true Dolphin fan, even if you love Josh Rosen, you should want him to have to beat out Fitzpatrick, even if Fitzpatrick has an advantage, because you'll have the sensation and the satisfaction of knowing that he earned every bit of it. That it doesn't need to be questioned. It doesn't need to be questioned. And at this point, I got to be honest with you. That's what Josh Rosen gets. Let's not sit here and make it seem like he's exempt from any blame about the way his career trajectory has gone. Let me give you an example. Take last year, for instance. If Josh Rosen would have been wise, he would have played smart football. And what I mean by playing smart football, he would have continued to get sacked. He would have continued to let people drop the ball. He would have been playing football, and on tape, they would have saw the good decisions our team just couldn't close. The line wouldn't protect. He's throwing great balls. The receivers kept dropping them. But when you're going out there trying to make more than you need to happen, and you're making misplaced throws, and you're throwing interceptions that you shouldn't have thrown, you're rolling out in the pocket on the goal line, take it. No, you don't do that. You're adding negatives to your film. You don't do that. If you can't move the ball, show that you're doing your job and you can't move it. Don't add to the fray. But TD, he is just a kid, 22. I agree. But once again, Jeff, At what point do we slap that 22-year-old's hand and say, no? And that's what I'm doing right now. You can't do that, kid. You can't do that. And just because he's a kid doesn't make him exempt from his mistakes. How else will he learn from them if you don't chastise him for them? And that's what I'm doing right now. Unexcusable. You can't do that. Unacceptable. So when we see Josh Rosen come into camp this year, those are the type of things that are zero tolerance. If Flores sees that kind of stuff in practice and in preseason games, he's done. He's done. He's done. So good luck to Josh Rosen, man. Y'all hit that like button. We got 180 likes, 258 in the room. We got a lot of people here on a Saturday, man. I thought I was going to have like 80 people joining in, talking about how Tua ain't injury prone and he's prone to injury instead. Oh, my God. Let me tell y'all something, man. I ain't trying to get on y'all Tua lovers, man, but I got to tell y'all the truth, man. Y'all be talking about me and how I just be hating. Do y'all not see y'all drooling love for the kid? That's all I'm saying. Do y'all not notice your drooling love for him? A doctor comes out and give an article saying he's not injury prone, but if you want to call him prone to injury, that's another conversation. And all of a sudden, oh, look, everybody hit me up. Told you, TD, the doctor just said he ain't injury prone. Oh, like, is that news? Like, really? Do y'all not see y'all over-infatuated love for the kid? Just as much as y'all see my quote-unquote hate for him, do y'all not see y'all over-infatuation of him? Come on, man. This goes two ways here. It's easy to see how I'm not wanting him in Miami, but do y'all even pay attention to the excuses and all the fighting you do to prove that he's worthy? You shouldn't even have to prove it if he was. Everybody, y'all should just be like, shh, you'll see. Just be quiet and let him get drafted by the Dolphins and say, I knew what I was talking about, TD. And I'll be like, hey, you were on to something and you hit it right on. I was wrong. But it's so defensive. It's so defensive. Somebody say one thing about, man, I'm just not, man, TD, you hating. Okay. I am. Hating on him being a Miami Dolphin with his proneness to injuries. That's all it is, man. I don't know how many times I got to go on the record and saying the kid is the greatest of all time. Like I'm throwing a little extra, extra title in there just to make y'all feel good. He's the greatest of all time. But what? Just so that y'all can listen and hear what I'm actually saying. What does that got to do with my concerns? EM done showed up. I brought Tua up again and we see EM. He said, you're always hating when it comes to Tua. You're always loving when it comes to Tua. I ain't heard you say one thing that is that you don't like about the kid at all. Oh, because I love everything about him. And guess what? I don't. But mine is hate. Mine is hate. Okay. We just want a serious QB. I agree with that. Somebody who's going to come in, lead, not going to be this media circus. Not going to be trying to give the owner awards so he'll draft them. Hey, that's me speculating, y'all. That ain't true. Now, he did get an award from Tua's agent. They gave him like this, award for the good things he do outside of football. All of a sudden this offseason, he wins the award from Tua's agent. I'm just saying. I ain't saying that it's nothing dirty there. It's just TD speculating. No, man. Oh, man. Tua needs to beef up like Russell Wilson did, and maybe I'd feel better about it. Man, he's a small guy. He's a small guy. It's almost easy to throw the brittle stamp on him. it's almost easy to throw that brittle stamp right on him. He's really small, man. But I've never let size be a determining factor for a quarterback. This is one scenario I would use Drew Brees as a comparison. I never let size compare a quarterback. I never allow that. But he is a small guy. And that worries me because, again, them big old Mr. Ball game was spot on. I wanted to elaborate on it yesterday, but we went off in this tangent. But he's spot on about the fact that players in this league, when it comes down to it in the playoffs and games that really matter, I ain't talking about regular season. And some teams, they hate it so much they'll do it in the regular season too. But really in the playoffs, there's always somebody that's going to make an example early in the game. The ball's already out of his hands. Go ahead and get that 15-yard penalty. Let him have it. And those are those moments I'm worried about. I remember yesterday because Finsanity put in the comment section just like what's the thing the Saints were Bounty Gate or whatever. Bounty Gate. That's what it was. Where even the coaches, they had money that they were putting on who could lay the hit on the quarterback and they win the bounty. I just don't. That's what I get scared of. Somebody said Pat White 2020. Y'all leave Pat White alone, man. I'll never forget. Pat White got hit on the sideline one time. Boy, I thought his life was over. No, who else was it? Now, you talk about a real hit. Who was that? It was one of our cornerbacks. I always bring this up to y'all, and y'all tell me who it is, but I always forget who it was. It was one of our cornerbacks who was running to make a tackle, and he got blindsided, and oh, my gosh. I got on my knees for him. Do y'all remember who that was? It was a cornerback of ours. It was within the last 10 years. I forgot what year it was. Gosh. It was a cornerback of ours who got laid out bad, man. I might need to even find that clip. Lippy, yes, man. Let me see if the clip is up. Let me see if they got a clip of that hit. Man, some of y'all new fans don't know what I'm talking about. Tony Lippett. It's hit. Let me just put that in. Maybe it'll show. Yeah, Michael Floyd destroys Tony Lippett with massive block on Edelman touchdown. Ooh, let me pull it up. I'm going to be quick. Oh, my gosh. Yes, that's it. Let me share it with some of y'all so y'all will see it, man. Oh, my gosh. Boy. I got it up. I'm going to show y'all, man. Boy, this was bad, man. This is real bad. Oh, Tom Brady, Edelman. Get him, Lippett. Get him. Oh! Oh, no. Oh, no. Unfair. Look at he's still on the ground. Oh, my gosh. Man. Oh, my gosh. See? And that's what I'm talking. Imagine that being Tua. Tua ain't even gonna sit up like that, man. That's what I'm talking about right there, man. Getting hit like that, man. It ain't nothing nice. It ain't even fair. Whew. I don't even want to bring up the Pat White hit, man. It ain't even right. I ain't even gonna bring up that Pat White hit. Tua equals Pat White. Oh, TD, no, when Dub Dupree hit Matt Moore. I remember that too. Tua can't even run out the pocket. Y'all leave that man alone. EM said, wow, Bounty Gate, you and Ball Game look really buffoonish right now. EM, just because you say we look buffoonish, it may be to you, bro. But everybody, a lot of people know what we're talking about. They know what Bounty Gate was. And you're the foolish one if you don't think stuff like that happens still in the NFL. Just more under the table since they got caught last time. And for all y'all young cats that don't know what Bounty Gate was, they were putting money in a pot basically to say who could take out the guy. and whoever took him out get all the money in the pot. That's all. That's the simple way of putting it. And people make examples like that with quarterbacks at times. Late hits. They do that all the time, man. Y'all are definitely reaching. Bro, even if we're reaching, and that actually happened, then what? You act like it's not possible. See, I'll respect you saying we reaching, even though you still off by saying we reaching. But all you need to do is acknowledge the possibility. Now, if you want to go on record and saying it's not possible to happen, then okay, you got your opinion. Okay. But why don't you tell the people if it's possible? Well, anything's possible, TD. Yeah, of course it is. And that's what we're talking about, the possibility. And if it happens, our boy Tua is going to be in for a rude awakening. A rude awakening, man. Don't get mad at me because you got prone to injury. Not injury prone. You see how I corrected that, EM? Tua is no longer injury prone. He's just prone to injury. Oh, man, that's crazy, man. What's his name again? Dr. Choa or something. He said, I met him at Super Bowl 54, and I love the kid. I'm rooting for him. Oh, okay. That's why you're writing this article? Quint said, EM, it still happens. Sorry. He know it do. It's just that we're relating it to his guy. So it's buffoonish. Anything bad happening to Tua is buffoonish. That hip injury wasn't buffoonish. It sure wouldn't. It was real as can be. It was as real as can be, man. They want to act like quarterbacks don't get smacked. Man, stop. Finsanity, we already know what time it is, man. Oh, okay. There we go. EM finally agrees, even though he ain't trying to agree. He's saying, yeah, okay. Yeah, we know, EM. We know, bro. TD, do you think Bounty Gate wasn't a reality when QB Johnny Manziel was playing for the Crayolas? I'm not sure. I don't remember when he was playing for the Crayolas. So can't this happen to any QB then, TD? Yes, it can, Rip. So would you rather it happen into a quarterback that's like every other quarterback, or do you rather it happen into a quarterback that's prone to injuries? Which one would you rather? Please let me know. Which one would you rather? Would you rather it happen to your general quarterback or the one who's prone to injuries? I'm doing good at this prone to injury stuff. That's all I'm saying. If this guy getting hit is always going to make us hold our breath and hoping that he gets up, then what do you rather? Come on, man. And I agree with everybody who's saying any QB that extends plays is at a higher risk. This ain't about it. Yes, they're all at a higher risk, but some of them are more prone to injuries than others. Some of them take more risk than others, which makes them more at a much higher risk. It makes them even a higher risk because they take more chances. Did Tua call EM today? They don't call. They FaceTime. When are you going to send the information about the Ross supposedly said about Wilkins last year? Bro, you know what? I forgot all about that last night. We were watching Ozark, me and the wife. I got you today, man. As soon as I'm off this stream, I'll look for it. We're watching Ozark, and all y'all who recommended Ozark, we appreciate it. It's getting good. At first, it was like, what is going on? But it's starting to get good. It's starting, and she's enjoying it at least. I think we're on season 1, like episode 5. So we watched like 3 of them last night and 2 of them the night before. First time logging in, but fan of your show. I appreciate that, Fan for life, dude. I appreciate it. Let your friends and family members know about the channel as well, man. Darth Vader said Russell Wilson has never missed a game in the NFL. Interesting. That is interesting. I didn't even know that, but that is really interesting. Good for him, man. Good for him. It looks like he's not prone to injuries. He's not prone to injuries. What other QB in this class has a injury history like Tua, TD? I'm not sure. I don't know all of their injury histories, honestly. I don't go that deep. Burrow, I've looked at his history. Love, Herbert, I haven't went past that because everybody else hasn't been like that immediate threat. And yes, I did say threat of being drafted at number 5 by the Miami Dolphins. Tua like a hand grenade, always getting blown up. He's the same frame as Russell. Who, Tua? Is Tua the same frame as Russell? I don't see that, but if he is, that's interesting. That's interesting. TD, how do you feel about QB Jacob Eason? I don't. No, I'm just messing with you. Again, I'll say where would you have him projected to go? That's what I would say. Because at the end of the day, he's just like the rest of the guys. If we get him, then it's almost like a project. Everybody else is a project unless you're at that top. It's that simple. Man, can we call Tannehill flaws as much as Tua's? Man, can we call out Tannehill flaws as much as Tua's? What flaws? What flaws? And we'll call them out. If they're legitimate flaws, we'll call them out. And I think people did a lot of that when he was on the roster. 2019 Miami Miracle, by the way. Prone to injury. Y'all think, I'm curious. Y'all think Tannehill is prone to injury? I'm just curious. Do y'all think Tannehill is prone to injuries? Like Tua? Tua, 12 injuries in college? You really think that Tannehill is prone to injuries? Because of the knee, and then in practice did it again? Is that what y'all call prone to injuries? I'm just curious. I don't know. Finsanity, I actually like your opinion. I think he was prone to sacks. That is true. That is true, man. Who you taking number 5? If he's available, I'm taking Simmons or Brown. That would be my first pick at number 5 if I was in that room. Bad pocket presence. Once again, you got to have a pocket to have pocket presence. I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all that. You got to have a pocket in order to have pocket presence. Sometimes there are things that would be necessary to constitute another thing. Y'all want to skip that and go straight to it. So, TD, what is the name of Reason's channel? Oh my gosh, see, you done already got me messed up on the name. Reason, drop the name again one more time in the comment section for everybody, man. Fins is PHINS, Finside. Reason, drop the name, man. I will make sure we spell it right. It's not FINS, it's PHIN. I think it's Finside the NFL, but Fins, PHINS. I think I said that earlier. It was PH and IF. PHINS, NSIDE, the NFL. Finside. Finside. Yes, it's PH. I'm pretty confident that it's PH. Yeah. James just said Finside the NFL. He got it. Genetics. Tanny is prone to throwing for less than 100 yards in playoff games and winning them. Guess what Tannehill's playoff record is? 2-1. 2-1. Guess what Lamar Jackson's is? Guess what Deshaun Watson's is? Should I go on? Guess what Dak Prescott's is? Should I go on? Y'all just keep losing, man. Tannehill is prone to throwing under 100 yards in the playoffs with a 2-1 playoff record. All time. Tannehill is 66% playoff wins. He on his way to the Hall of Fame, baby. Hey, I know y'all don't like that, man. I know y'all don't like it. It's all right, man. It's hard to win this battle, y'all. I promise you. It's real hard to win this battle, man. Oh, man. They are better QBs. That K-Day, that's funny, though. I'm so happy you said that because you actually proved my point more by saying they're better QBs and you dismiss everybody else ridiculous buffoonery points that the quarterback is the one that carried the team. Talk about they're better players. Then why ain't they going to AFC championship games? Why aren't they? If the quarterback is the one that makes the difference, that carries the team, then why is Deshaun Watson not going to AFC championship games? Why is Lamar Jackson not going to AFC championship games? Because it doesn't matter if they're better quarterbacks. What matters is who has the better team. And y'all don't like that. Come on, man. That's how you need to start looking at the Miami Dolphins. We need a great team, not a great quarterback. It'd be nice to have a great quarterback on that great team. I get all of that. But you need a great team. It's that simple, man. TD, if we take Derek Brown, do you think that we will, probably trade Devon Godchild? I don't think so. We just got a whole bunch of situational players that's going to help us. The only issue is what teams will try to do against us. They'll try to run. See, what's happening is the way we're building our team, we're going to be so good on defense that the teams are going to have to try to run hurry up offenses to try to neutralize our substitutions. They're going to have to try to neutralize our substitutions. So what they're going to do is they might run the ball on first down and get 0 yards, 2nd and 10. They might run the ball on 2nd down and get 3 yards, but it's 3rd and 7, but they'll hurry up offense so Godchild can't come off the field and let Derek Brown. You see what I mean? Or whatever, vice versa. Derek Brown can't come off the field or Christian Wilkins can't come off the field and let the best pass rusher come in. They'll have to relegate to things like that. Because if we get Derek Brown with the guys that we got, all the guys that we got now, if Brown was added into that picture, it's going to be real hard to run the ball on us. It's going to be really hard. So when we stuff in that run in those early downs, they're probably going to do a hurry-up offense on 2nd or 3rd down to try to not let us substitute into a scheme that's going to allow our athletes to be on the field, our nickel package or whatever you want to call it. Whatever we run. That's what they're going to try to do to neutralize that. But benefit to us, most teams don't even adjust like that. They don't even adjust like that until the playoffs because it's too much to put on the players during the week. But some teams will. The ones who've been together for a while and got the camaraderie and they're ready to roll, they will. They'll stick it to you early. Man. Church, Simmons with TD Fins. Summon with TD Fins. Simmons will equalize all that. Man, you give me Brown and Simmons. If we got a way to get Brown and Simmons, man, listen, that's why I told y'all I would keep the number 5 pick. I would take 18 and 26. 18 and 26. Yeah, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I might take 18, 26. And our latest 2nd round pick to move back up in the top 5. It might get it done. 18, 26, and a late 2nd round pick. And if I can get Brown and Simmons, my defense is done. Complete. My defense is complete. The issue is we still ain't got the O-line. And the first thing I would do in that 2nd round, I would go ahead and get me an offensive lineman. And then I'll draft a whole bunch of position players to add depth on this roster. And no, TD didn't address the offense, but that's if I was to take the approach of, you know what, I'm not even trying to be going to the Super Bowl this year. I'm trying to build this the right way with patience. My defense is done. And I got a little better on the O-line. It ain't where I needed to be, but I got a little better. Plus, I brought another second-round pick in. Plus a few more guys, and hopefully they earn their way. And then in 2021 or via trade or free agency, listen, it's all offense. It's all offense. I'm getting me a quarterback and the Great Wall of China if the quarterbacks we already got don't work out. And they might. They might. They might. In the third round, I'm going to get one of those other quarterbacks that everybody consider a project. From all those guys. I'll grab one of those guys. But I want to finish this defense, man. We're a nose tackle and a player like Simmons away from, all right, we ready for war. Score on us at your own will. Good luck. It's that simple, y'all. We're a nose tackle and a player like Simmons away from having a defense that is not going to allow over 17 points a game, man. Might even be historical. Don't allow more than 13, 14 a game. And to take it a step further, might actually average 7 points a game. See, that's the game changer. Your defense so good that they put up 7 points a game. Pick six, fumble six, or whatever. However you get it done. Special teams. Hey, listen, Bill Belichick, it's hard to lose a game if you don't allow the other team to score. And no, it ain't been no truer words than that, man. Rip said that would be nice. Now I can't lie. Of course. I'll start there. And let me tell you a step further. I'll go with the best defense in the league and let Fitzpatrick pick up where he left off last year, as DM likes to say, with more structure in his game. That should be enough. If Fitzpatrick picks up where he did last year and we hit the ground running and our defense is top 5, you can't tell me we're not going to the playoffs with a tougher schedule. You cannot tell me that. If Fitzpatrick picked up where he did last year and our defense is top 5, you cannot sit here and argue that we ain't going to the playoffs. I ain't talking about the first 6 weeks of the league where it looked like we were playing flag football with the 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds. That's what the first 6 weeks was. But after that, come on, man, we saw some good quality football. It wasn't great. Our defense got better, but you know how much better they should be? You know how much better they should be this year? And you 2 pieces away from having zero doubts about them? Think about it. You throw Brown and Simmons into our defense. What doubts do you have about this defense? I know it's all on paper, but even on paper, what doubts would you have about this defense? You throw Brown and Simmons in there. Please tell me. Please tell me, what doubts would you have by adding Brown and Simmons to this defense right now? Come on, man. It'll be the same as the freaking Patriots last year, won freaking 13 games off of the defense. It was like 4 games Tom Brady didn't even throw a touchdown. I remember when they played Buffalo. It was a tight game at the end. It was like 14-12. Tom Brady ain't throw a single touchdown in the game. And the defense won the game off like a pick 6 or something like that at the end. That's what Flores has been trying to accomplish. Right now, it's just a matter of, are you about to finish it off? Or are you about to switch gears and start going offense? Or are you about to switch gears and go offense and just get a few pieces to add to the defense, but it ain't Brown and Simmons? So, yes, man. If I could, I would try to go for the best defense in the league, paying all these young guys minuscule money, locked in for the next 3 to 4 years, all of them together. And my defense is also going to produce offense. My defense are going to put points up, and then they're going to make turnovers on the opposing side of the field. Let me tell you something about Patrick Mahomes. He's a great quarterback, but that's not sit here and act like there weren't times where he was getting the ball on his own, on the other team's 30-yard line. Same thing with Tua Tagovailoa in college. That's not sit here and act like he wasn't getting the ball inside the other team's red zone at times, the other team's 40-yard line at times. All you need is one first down and you're in field goal range. That's what defense does for you. That's what defenses can do. They're going to make your offense look better because they put your offense in better positions. Defense is going to win the field position battle. Even if it's a punting game, you got them backed up and they punting the ball to you at the 50 or the 40. That's what defense does. It makes life easier for the offense. Well, at least that's what it's supposed to do. I'm tired of living this life of bend but don't break. A team start on their 25, they march it all the way down to the 42, and they just outside of field goal range, so they punt. Oh, good job, D. You bent. You gave up by 5 first downs, but you didn't break. Oh, yes. When all it took was one more first down and they at least got a field goal. I'm tired of that crap. Woo! We only gave up a field goal. All right, we still in this. Ooh, the second drive, we only gave up a field goal. It's 6-0. We still in this. Woo, oh, it's 9-0 now. Hey, it's still respectable. It ain't out of reach. I'm tired of that crap. Tired of that crap. When are we going to dominate on that side of the ball? We headed in the right directions. Now let's finish it off. Let's freaking finish it off, man. It's embarrassing when you're watching your team and they can't stop nobody. Even in a game where your offense actually putting up points, but it don't even matter. Ain't nothing more depressing than that. Imagine losing 60-0 5 weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden, man, we put up 45 points this week, but you lost. Get out of here with that mess, man. I'm sick of it. The teams that usually have sustained success are the ones who have a great defense. Even if their offense struggle, they still in the fight. But I ain't trying to build no team where it's high-powered offense and then the offense struggle when you ain't got a shot in the gun range. At least if you got a defense, if your offense struggling, you still in it. Look, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't sit here and act like I'm just blowing smoke right now. Y'all know good and well what I'm talking about here. We done lived it for too many years. Y'all remember the days where our cornerbacks couldn't stop a receiver to save their own mama. Every ball that got thrown up in the air, it was either a catch or a pass interference. Y'all remember them days? Every single ball thrown in the air, catch or pass interference. You remember that. It ain't too far away. It's right behind us. We went out there and said, we're going to invest at the cornerback position. We're going to go get Sean Smith and Vontae Davis. Pass interference. They could cover. They did a good job covering. Pass interference, pass interference, pass interference. But at least they ain't getting burnt. Pass interference. TD, you're talking the Dan Marino era. 38 points a game, but give up 39 points. Ridiculous. Oh, my gosh. Listen, I wouldn't even talk about Dan Marino era, but just to hear that from you, who knows the Dan Marino era. Like, people want to repeat history. They want to go back to something that already didn't work. And let me get on those people for a second here. It's the same old, same old. You're jealous. You're getting jealous of teams you're getting jealous of the Chiefs because they got Patrick Mahomes and they put him in the front of everything as the poster boy and say, I need me one of those. You get jealous of Russell Wilson. You get jealous of Lamar Jackson. You get jealous of Deshaun Watson and say, we need one of those. We need one of those. That's all it is. You're getting jealous. And then when you get one and they do the same thing, kudos to Patrick Mahomes, by the way. I already told y'all, if any of them going to do it, they got to do it on their rookie deal. I done already told y'all that. Because I'm still waiting on that young fella to get off his rookie deal. It's been 8 years now that I've been waiting for that first young fella to get off his rookie deal and do it. Ain't seen it yet. Well, TD, but Brady's been here. That's why. Yeah. Because why don't they do it when they off their rookie deal? Guess what? Guess what? I'll tell you. If Russell Wilson didn't take 30-something million and he took 20-something, he'd have more than one Super Bowl ring right now, if you ask me. He'd have more than one Super Bowl ring right now. Easily. Imagine them going into that Super Bowl where they didn't run the ball and they threw the pick and they had 2 or 3 more pieces of talent on that team. Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all get jealous, man. You get jealous. You see these fancy, shiny toys that go into the playoffs, and most of them be losing in the first round, and you want it so bad, even if it means you're going to have a shiny toy that'll never get you to the Super Bowl. I don't know how many times I got to say the name Dan Marino. What's the difference? You want your great quarterback? You had him in Dan Marino. Why ain't we got a Lombardi trophy in our corporate headquarters with Dan Marino next to it? Like, that's me. That's me. Please answer me that. Why at the stadium is Dan Marino's statue not holding the Lombardi up high? Because you want the flashy superstar quarterback and think that that's all it takes to get to win a Super Bowl. Once again, show me one of them that got one off their rookie deal. Show me one of them that got one off their rookie deal. And I'm going to keep waiting. I'm going to keep waiting. I'm going to wait on that one person to defy the odds and be that outlier and do it. Because it ain't been done. It ain't been done. These kids want their money now, and that money is killing their team. I've been saying this for so freaking long, and I continue to prove it every single year. Before I started this channel, I used to say this to people, and I continue to prove it every time. Makes no sense, man. I love what the Ravens doing and Lamar Jackson and all that, but come on, man. At the biggest moments, this kid always comes up the same way. But this is what you want to pay the money to. This is what y'all want in Miami. We need that next guy. I'm just curious. Say we draft the next guy this year. The high-profile, flashy guy. Let's just say Tua, because that's who y'all wanted to be. What happens if Tua does what Lamar Jackson did 2 years in a row? What do we say then? 2 years in a row, he get blown out the water in the playoffs. In the first round, both years. TD, it wasn't the first round this year. It was the first game he played in the playoffs because they had a bye. His first playoff game, blown out the water, get out of here both times. You couldn't touch him in the regular season. Unstoppable. And then we want to sit here and say, no, he ran into Derrick Henry. Scratch all that. What about the sacks he had, the turnovers, and the stuff he did in that game? We want to ignore all of that? Y'all act like he played as good as he did in the regular season in that game. In a defense that ain't even great. Well coached. I will say that to a degree. To a degree. But come on, what if Tua does that? We have all these flashy seasons, and we go to the first round and get knocked out. Are we looking for the next Dan Marino? Oh, he breaking records, he doing this and he doing that, but he knocked out every year. He can't win the big one. Is that what we're looking for? We're looking for 20 years down the line to say, man, we done had two of the greatest quarterbacks in history, Dan Marino and Tua Tagovailoa. Ain't none of them win a Super Bowl, but they were great, man. I remember those days. 20 years after that, we'd be like, man, it's been 20 years since we found a quarterback. We need to find the next Tua. He ain't even win you nothing. Just like Dan Marino. That's what y'all sound like. Always talk about we need to find the next Dan Marino. Is the ultimate goal to find a great quarterback or win a Super Bowl? I'm just curious. And I love Dan Marino. I always go on record saying he's the greatest quarterback of all time. People argue with me about that. I just say if he had a ring, y'all wouldn't be saying all this. I always say Dan Marino, greatest quarterback of all time. Always. Every chance I get. Even if I truly deep down inside feel like maybe he wasn't. No, greatest quarterback of all time. You know why? Because he wore these colors. Greatest quarterback of all time. Biased. Call me what you want. I'm biased. Yep. Get over it. But at the end of the day, when the rubber meets the road and you really want to talk facts, what did we get out of it? The ability to say that we had a great quarterback once? Come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. What are y'all really looking for? Who wants to win a Super Bowl? Who wants to build a Super Bowl winning team? And you go around this league and look at the teams who've built Super Bowl winning teams that could sustain, which honestly, the biggest problem some of y'all have is you're looking around this league. You can't look around this league for the prototype team to win a Super Bowl. You can only look at the Patriots. Everybody else has been one-hit wonders. Got one here. They got one there. Oh, they got one there. But you got to stop looking at these other teams for your answers. None of them have really gotten it right. And the ones that got it right, it was temporarily. They loaded up for 1 year. The Eagles, they loaded up that year. They third string in every position was good. They loaded up. Y'all better go look at that Eagles roster that year they won with Foles. That was a roster. They third strings could start. They geared that team up in every position. They went for broke. They were the epitome of 7 and 8s, but they had tons of them. That's all it was, man. Teams trying to buy Super Bowls are gearing up for 1 year, knowing that it can't sustain. Knowing that it can't sustain. Looking at the players they lose after the Super Bowl. I wonder, did the Chiefs lose players? Because they had the most free agents coming into this year. The Chiefs they were like at the top of the league. I think somebody said between San Francisco and the Chiefs, they had like 20 or 30 something free agents that were going to be on the market after the Super Bowl. That's what you call teams that wrote contracts to go for broke and try to win it all that year. If that's what you want, then I'm all good. Go get your flashy quarterback, spend whatever you need to spend, get that 1 year team. Go get your one Super Bowl. But I want to enjoy football long term. I want to be that dynasty. I want people to be like, man, you got to go through them Dolphins down there first. They've been nice for 10 years now, man. They done been to the Super Bowl 7 times in 10 years. They done won 3 or 4. That's what I want. I ain't trying to just get in and get out. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, TD ain't no fool. If I can get in, I get in, even if it meant get out. But then it's a lot of teams doing that. You ain't guaranteed to be the one to still get it then. You got to build something that's long-term and sustainable. And NFL history shows you History, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let people lie to you and tell you the times have changed. Football is football. NFL history has showed you, number one, defense. Number two, offensive line and run the ball. Number three, quarterback that can bring it over the top. That's number three. And then as you watch that chemistry come together, you'll realize you don't need the best quarterback of all time to do that. Because that running game and that O-line takes pressure off the quarterback. That defense takes pressure off of what you need the quarterback to do. And truth be told, whether people want to argue with me or not, is that not what we're doing right now with this team? What did free agency tell you? What did last offseason tell you when we traded away all the offensive talent? What did free agency just tell you? Brian Flores ain't no idiot. Defense first. What did he just address more than anything? Defense first. He know what it takes to build it. He knows what it takes. Now we're at a crossroad, though, of does he feel like he has enough now, or is he going to go ahead and lock in and get one or two more pieces? Or is he going to go ahead and, if he does feel like he has enough now on defense, is he going to shift gears and go ahead and focus on the offense? But right now, nobody can deny we have focused primarily on defense before anything else. So that shows you our number one priority, defense. Defense, 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 defense. Who made the biggest improvement yet last year? Defense, with no name players. That's what it is. That's what it's going to be. And that's how we're going to win. Defense. Now we got to go build that O-line as we finish the defense and find the quarterback that best fits us, who can help us go win a Super Bowl. Who can help us go win a Super Bowl. You ain't got to be the best player in the NFL. You just got to make sure you're not the reason we lose. I've always said that. That's all you need in a quarterback, is a guy who knows how to make plays and not be the reason we lose. That's it. Just don't be the reason we lose. That's simple. Don't be the reason we lose. Don't be the reason we lose. You know what's interesting about that too, y'all? Imagine this last year with the Chiefs. Imagine this. Because I think their defense did a good job in the playoffs, right? The Chiefs. Their defense did better than we expected. But imagine Damian Williams not running that last touchdown to seal the game. And they actually stopped him on third down. And then the San Francisco went down, scored, and won the game. Because that's how close it was at the time. Imagine if Damian Williams didn't seal the game and the defense stopped him on that run, that third down, and all of a sudden the offense went down and just won the game at the end of the game. Game over. Who would have been the main reason that the Chiefs lost? Who would have been the main reason that the Chiefs lost? They would have looked at those two turnovers and that sloppy play early on by that quarterback. But they won the game and they give him the MVP. If Damian Williams didn't run that game-sealing touchdown to make it 2 possessions at the end of the game, because it was still 1 possession. It was still 1 possession. If they would have stopped him on that third down run, got the ball back, went down with the last minute and scored and won, who would have been the reason the Chiefs lost that game? But all of a sudden, Damian Williams runs the touchdown in that makes it a 2-possession game. And now all of a sudden, Mahomes wins MVP. WODS3 said, if. You're right. If. But why don't you try to answer it? Answer the question, though. You can throw all these ifs out all you want, but answer the question. If you answer the question, you'll be facing the truth. you would be straight up facing the truth. If Damian Williams didn't open the game up by making it a 2-possession game and the other team would have went down and won, everybody would have said, Mahomes didn't have a Mahomes-like game. He had moments where he helped, but those 2 turnovers really hurt. And he's a young kid. He's the future of this league. He has a lot left in, and he's going to be here many times. That would have been the narrative. That would have been the narrative. But he still wins MVP, although the guy who created the separation and ran that big 3rd down touchdown, it amazes me how narratives can play out and people want to ignore them just to fit their narrative. It could have went that simple. The quarterback ain't even have anything to do with that moment. That play wouldn't have happened. They would have got the ball back. I ain't saying they would have got it. They might have still got stopped. But if they would have went down to score, everybody knows deep down the whole narrative would have been different. And it was one person who wouldn't have had any say in that narrative. They handed the ball off and he ran a touchdown. If he handed the ball off and they would have stuffed him right there, they would have punted the ball. And if they would have went down to score, Patrick Mahomes didn't have nothing to do with any of that transaction. That play, he didn't have anything to do but hand it off. He couldn't stop the other team, but everybody would have looked at the totality of the game and said those 2 turnovers were huge. Those 2 turnovers he had were huge. You can't recover from that, not in the Super Bowl. Because if you look at the Chiefs game overall, the only problem in that game was the turnovers. But we can forget all that and ignore it all because they won, right? Come on, man. Come on. Shout out to Rock Rims with the donation, man. I appreciate you, homie. Thank you, everybody who donates to the channel that show their appreciation for the content that I provide. Even if you don't agree with it, I still feel your love regardless. Thank y'all so much, man. Everybody who donate to the PayPal, I appreciate you. The Cash App, thank you so much. And all my Patreon members, I'm in debt to you. I appreciate your love, man. We've been rolling for 2 hours and about 20 minutes so far. We still got 250 people in the room, 219 likes. I appreciate that, guys. Y'all rolling with me, riding with me, man. I appreciate it, man. 49ers went to a prevent defense. Yeah, I know. We already know. 49ers actually, they got themselves to blame for that game, if you ask me. We know. We had a team with the top 5 defense and running game and still didn't win. Who was that, Rock? Who was that? Who was the top 5 defense in a running game? I'm just curious. Brown at 5, McKinney at 18. Defense is done. Rest of the draft, we go offense. I'm with it, Mr. Miami. I'm with it. I could take that same scenario. Brown at 5, McKinney at 18. I could take the best tackle available at 26. And if ain't nobody there worth it, I'll take the best center/guard available. My first, second round pick, I'll go ahead and take a running back. My second round pick, I would go ahead and take one of those project quarterbacks. Third round, fourth round, fifth round, I'll grab a player in every round and whatever position you want to add depth on, and then I'll start packaging the rest of those picks and moving them to next year. And then, because let me say another thing. Let me say another thing. You can't be too eager to build it all at once. You can't build it all at once. Of course, the fan in me, get it all now. Let's go to war, Super Bowl. You can't. Let me tell you why. You want some time to sit back and evaluate before. It's almost like this. we got all these players on defense and stuff now. You want to add some more pieces and even the offense. But it's a part of me that feels like let's go into war next year and let's see what we got with the group we got so we can really determine what we need. We can sit here now and say we need a nose tackle, we need a safety, we need offensive tackles, we need a quarterback, we need a running back. When in reality, we might go into this season and say, with the addition of the guys who are handling the boundaries, we don't need a safety like everybody thought, because the boundaries are so secure now, our safeties ain't got to think as much or worry about more than one assignment. So they're playing even better. So it's not as high as a priority that we thought. Yeah, we need to anchor up that middle, but with guys like Van Noy and Raekwon getting better, they're playing so much better now that we don't even feel like we got enough now. Sometimes you need to go with what you got to see where you really have the holes when you add stuff. And we just added stuff. Let's see where we are before we jump the gun and think we need something that we may not anymore. We may not. Even on the offensive side of the ball, you'd be surprised how much Karras can benefit our O-line. You'll be surprised how much he can. And also not just Karras. You also got Flowers. You'd be surprised how much better Dieter might look with Karras and Flowers on the field next to him. You'd be surprised how much better Davis might look. You'd be surprised. Small little additions can make other guys look better too. If we roll with what we roll with right now, we might end up saying, you know what, guys, we don't need a right tackle. We still need a left, but we don't need a right. Or you know what, guys, we don't need a safety. We still need a defensive tackle, but we don't need a safety. Sometimes that's how it works. So it's a catch-22 for me wanting to just fill every hole right now, because some of these guys are going to make some of those filled holes even better, some of those holes better. It's going to almost look like we didn't even need to fill it. But we got all these assets, so you have the luxury of doing it anyway. But I just hope that we prioritize on the things that we really need. I ain't gonna lie, I would love to finish the defense. Give me my nose tackle and my safety right now in the first round. But at the same token, I do trust Flores on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm not mad if we go offense in the first round, all offense. I get that aspect too, because I got to trust Flores. He might feel like the additions we made, we're night and day. Just think about it, guys. Do y'all know what it means to add Van Noy on this defense? Do y'all realize what that is? Do we realize that? Let me pull this up, man. Do we realize adding Van Noy, adding Lawson, Ogba, Byron Jones? Do we realize the upgrade that we just went through on this defense? This is a thing of beauty, man. This is truly beautiful. It's truly beautiful, man. Let me bring this over so I can see it. My bad, guys. Y'all bear with me. Trying to get my screens together. Man, I'm messing this all up. Here we go. This is what you call a thing of beauty, man. Thing of beauty, man. I love our defense already. I love our defense already. Of course, that back end, I ain't the happiest about it. But again, when you look at Jones and Howard on the boundaries, think about it. I like McCain and Rowe right now. They shouldn't be. I mean, they're still going to have to play their position, but they shouldn't be so pressed on worrying about the deep ball as much, depending on the scheme we run and the defense we run. Our defense is better than it was last year. And did you remember how we ended the year? It was a thing of beauty. We got Christian Wilkins, Devon Gottschall, Ogba up front, Van Noy, Raekwon McMillan, Shaq Lawson. I didn't even mention Jerome Baker. I didn't mention Van Ginkel. I didn't mention some of those guys. And that ain't it. Sam Egwavon, I ain't mentioned. You got Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, Bobby McCain, who I hope they put back in the nickel, Eric Rowe. Oh, I know. I'm just putting McCain there because that's where he is right now. I just hope that they put him in the nickel, man. Hope they put him in the nickel. Taco. I ain't even mentioned Taco. Nick Needham. I ain't even mentioned Needham. You see the depth that we started to develop too, just by bringing in what we brought in? I ain't even mentioned Nick Needham. Didn't even mention him. Interesting. Whew. Basil. Yep. Beagle, Basil, however you want to pronounce it. We ready for war, y'all. Anywho, this is TDPHINSTALK, man, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans, y'all. This has been another great one. I appreciate y'all tuning in with me today. TD scared to send the link. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know y'all was asking to send the link, even though I'm about to end it. I don't know who I'm scared to send it to, but okay. Check me out tonight or tomorrow. I'll see if I can go live tonight. I know me and the wife going to keep on watching Ozark. But if not, tomorrow, because we're going to be cooking a big dinner, even though we're in quarantine in the house. But I should have some time to go live tomorrow. Maybe tonight. I'm finishing up the wide receivers. Again, we got 11 wide receivers, man. We got a lot. I think I'm on like number 7, so I got 4 more to do their bios. And it's real hard to do the guys that's way at the bottom of the depth chart because some of them didn't even have a scouting bio. That's how crazy it is, but I refuse not to get all the information I can on them so you can get to know them and understand where they came from and see if they got a shot to make this roster. Because I want to show everybody some love. If we signed you, even if you don't make the roster, if we signed you, I want to show you some love now. So that after the draft, I can just do bios on the people that we brought in the undrafted players we brought in. So you all are already caught up. So y'all, please be patient with me on the team. We already did the quarterbacks. We already did the running backs. We're on the receivers now. We're on the receivers now. If you didn't check those videos out, make sure you go check them out, guys. They're pretty good, informative videos. So please go check them out. Here's another sneak peek at it. Just so you know. Let me go to it. Here's a sneak peek of it right here, guys. So we went over every position. Right? We're going over every position. We did all the running backs. And now the wide receivers are next. Devontae Parker's next. Your boy. We'll get there, man. But I appreciate y'all love, appreciate y'all support, man. This has been a phenomenal stream. A lot that we got done. I'm glad I actually got to answer a lot of y'all questions. I was going through the comment section intentionally because some people say, they don't like being left out. They have something to say. And maybe the next stream I run, I'll just invite people on to give their 2 cents. I'm going to try to dedicate a stream to where I kind of don't say anything. I just hear from y'all. I just get y'all opinion on some of this stuff in and out. So y'all be on the lookout for that. We'll probably do that soon. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, we'll do a stream where I'm just letting y'all come on and talk for about 3 to 5 minutes. I'll put a timer on. And we'll go from there, man. But this is TD FinStalk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And remember, Tua is not injury prone. He's just prone to injuries. Peace. See y'all soon, man.